Coming up on Nittany Game Week.
I think my main decision was just coming to play for Matt Campbell for my final year. I wanted to be a part of that at a great university.
Former Iowa State QB Rocco Becht is expected to be the starter for PSU this season. How he's already leading the team before spring practices begin, and why his family is thrilled to see him make the move to Happy Valley.
Back to McKenna. Little finesse, couple drags, shoots, scores! Brilliant! Gavin McKenna, overtime game winner!
Gavin McKenna caps off a furious rally against Ohio State with the winning goal. What he does the previous night against the Buckeyes that has never been done before. And a variety of teams take center stage at Thon's annual pep rally. Which team takes home the trophy for top performance, and why the athletes say it's so important to be part of this event every year. This is Nittany Game Week. Hello everyone and welcome to Nittany Game Week. I'm Todd Sadowski alongside Ryan Yee. What more can be said about Thon? The largest student-run philanthropy in the world does it again. The announcement is made at the end of the 46-hour dance marathon.
Yeah, another record amount of money raised for the kids. Just under $19 million donated to 4 Diamonds to help battle pediatric cancer.
And the athletes at Penn State make sure to participate and get involved. We'll have more on their role during Thon weekend.
Yeah, we also catch up with the leaders of this year's football team and highlight a pair of historic hockey performances in our opening drive.
It's been a wild couple of months for the football program. Brand new coaching staff under Matt Campbell's leadership and a massive overhaul of the roster, with a large chunk of the players coming with Coach Campbell from Iowa State. This week, they have a meet and greet session with the media. The transfers discuss their time so far in Happy Valley. The returning players go into detail about why they decided to stay and play for the new staff here at PSU. Now, the new QB1, Rocco Becht, actually has ties to the Keystone State, and returning linebacker Tony Rojas describes some of the differences he's seen with the changes.
My dad's parents and his family, they're from Philly, so it's about 3 hours away. And my mom's family's from West Virginia, and that's also about 3 hours away. So it honestly, again, another blessing in disguise where I was able to come here and be closer to my grandparents, and it's easier for my mom and dad to see their families. And it's easier for my grandparents to come up here as they're getting older in age, and I know they want to see a lot of my games still. And so all the cousins still live up here in the north in Philly and West Virginia, so I'm closer to a lot of my family, which is awesome.
Not letting anything slip compared to the past years in a good way. I feel like he's just more on us, whether that's academics and whatnot. He doesn't let anything lack, and I think he's holding us accountable as if our group isn't the best of the week, then we have to come in the morning and clean the whole facility, whatever it is. If we don't do something or do it the right way, then the whole group, it affects all of us in a negative way. So I say just having the ability to hold each other accountable, and the young guys holding us accountable too.
Accountability is taken care of. Availability is the next issue for Becht and Rojas, both coming off injuries in 2025 and expect to play a big part in spring practice on and off the field. Becht is already leading workouts without the coaches. And Coach Terry Smith refers to the team as a blended family. Right now, we'll hear much more from the football guys coming up later in our Impact interview.
Yeah, now Todd, for a pair of historic hockey performances from both the women's and men's programs. Have to start, though, with Tessa Janicki, who returns from playing with Team USA in Italy with a gold medal. She recorded this in 3 consecutive wins against Italy, Sweden, and Canada. Janicki returns just in time for the league playoffs. PSU hosts Syracuse in the Atlantic Hockey America semifinals. It's a 2-out-of-3 format, with all games taking place at Pagula Arena. The Nittany Lions swept all 4 games with Syracuse this season and just wrapped up their 4th consecutive regular season league title. PSU rolled through the conference with a 22-2 record this season. Saturday's face-off is at 3 p.m. if necessary. Game 3 is Sunday, also at 3 o'clock. On the men's side, the hockey world is still buzzing about freshman Gavin McKenna's performance versus the Buckeyes. Program record 8 points, 7 of them assists in Game 1's 11-4 blowout. Less than 24 hours later, he sends them back to Columbus, shaking their heads after he nets the overtime game winner. Very cool that the Monster weekend occurs in front of home fans. Here's his early goal in Game 1. The offense is next level for PSU in this one. We now jump ahead to later in the game. They have a 4-on-3 power play. McKenna and Jackson Smith cross at the top of the zone. McKenna feeds him perfectly for the big blast. 7 assists for McKenna. He credits his teammates for finishing well in the 11-4 victory. Can't get an assist, though, if the puck doesn't end up in the back of the net. We move to overtime in Game 2 now. 3-on-3 seems pretty unfair. McKenna and Smith pass it back and forth, using all that open space on the ice. Then look at the quick move to shake the defender. Beats the goalie, and that's it. The comeback from down 4-1 is complete. Incredible performance from McKenna. For Coach Godowski, it's the attention to small details that makes his star freshman so good.
They also have a lot of pride in working very hard. Like they work extremely hard, and they can play on any line. And if you look at Shea Van Ohm's goal on Saturday night, like what Gavin did to play like he adjusts. He can really adjust to what he's doing. He played with role identification. That role had to play smart and play behind. Without turning the puck over, and he adjusted to them like that. They're very, very smart. They both have very high hockey IQs, and that's what allows them to be successful in many different lines.
The Nittany Lions have 2 at Notre Dame this weekend before they finish the Big Ten regular season with a pair of home games against Wisconsin. One of the great experiences for a Penn State student, though, athlete is participating in the Thon Pep Rally.
Yeah, it takes place on Saturday night during the 46-hour dance marathon. Nittany Game Week's Lauren Bradford was right next to the stage and captures the spirit and excitement surrounding the sports team's performances.
Thon's Pep Rally is one of the weekend's marquee events, a can't-miss experience.
We're practicing literally for weeks in advance for this. Like, we're looking forward to this for the entire spring semester. So be able to bring that together and be able to see my teammates in a few hours and come together with them and then put something out that we've been working on. It's super fun.
Every single year, just making the dances, finding the outfits, doing the makeup before. It's just the best experience.
Each Penn State team choreographs a performance for the Pep Rally in an attempt to beat out the other athletic programs.
Being a fall sport, we miss all the football games and pretty much every fall sport possible, but we never miss Thon. And I think, to me, that's way more important. Our football team is fun to watch, and it's a great atmosphere, but it's nothing compares to this.
In addition to the Pep Rally, some select athletes had the opportunity to fully participate in Thon's dance marathon this year.
It just gives me such an immense amount of pride to just participate in this, but then to be able to be a dancer and represent Penn State athletics and represent Penn State women's soccer and everything in between. It's just really special, and I'm really grateful to have this opportunity.
Knowing that it supports a cause so dear to so many.
When my aunt was going through her cancer journey, she was such a positive light for everyone around her and in her community, and she had passed away December of 2024. And I remember watching Thon that 2025 and just being this is such a perfect way to kind of carry out her spirit and be that hope and that light that she was for other people.
I'm doing it with my best friend Rena. She's the reason why I'm doing it. She had cancer as a freshman in high school, so I just wanted to be able to, support her however I can.
Thon serves as a reminder that being a Nittany Lion is more than just putting on a uniform and representing Penn State on the field or on the court. It's about giving back.
I think just being a part of it, I think you start to realize this is the community I chose when I came here, and this is something I'm going to carry with me.
Lauren Bradford for Nittany Game Week.
Thanks, Lauren. Another incredible year for everyone involved in making Thon such a huge success.
Now, 46 hours on your feet, tons of activities, music, and guests. It can be overwhelming. For the second consecutive year, the Excel Foundation works with the committee to offer a sensory space for anyone at the event that needs a break from the noise and the chaos. The sensory safe space was located on the concourse of the Bryce Jordan Center and available to all spectators and volunteers during all hours of the event. The sensory bags provided by Culture City and the items in them ensure a positive experience for anyone with sensory processing disorders. The calming lights, things to play with, just a quiet place to reset are all things that can help. The sensory safe space is powered by the XL Foundation and enhance the inclusivity of the event.
I think Thon, as exciting and special it is, it can be a little bit overwhelming with all of the loud noises and bright lights and things like that. So having a space like the sensory room to allow dancers and volunteers to decompress is very special and a really cool opportunity. We always say cancer doesn't discriminate, so why should we? So I think allowing any volunteer, any dancer, any spectator into this space, into Thon Weekend, is super important and just a huge part of our mission.
The XL Foundation is dedicated to the inclusion of individuals with autism spectrum disorder at all kinds of events, including the Super Bowl. Coming up, the baseball team is in the Bahamas. Why and how they were able to land a series against Indiana State in one of the most beautiful spots in the world. More Nittany Game Week is on the way.
The opening drive is sponsored by R&R Express. Every shipment moved contributes to autism research and inclusion through the Excel Foundation. Learn more at wearerr.com.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R Express family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the sensory room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium and a special event sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
Every week our groundskeepers are meticulously mowing, painting, repairing any damage from the previous game in preparation for Saturday. Our contributions to the team are providing safe playing surfaces for the athletes to showcase their abilities on. There's a lot of history here. Being able to be a part of that has been incredibly special for me.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State football.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. For the second straight year, the Penn State baseball team heads overseas for some early season action. This weekend, a business trip to the Bahamas for a 3-game set with Indiana State, the first ever NCAA D1 games on the island.
Penn State baseball is headed to the islands.
It's exciting. None of us have really gone anywhere like that to play, let alone like play college baseball. And it's just like, this is awesome. Like, no way you're not excited to be there. It's just unbelievable.
This weekend, for the first time ever, college baseball is in the Bahamas, with the Nittany Lions front and center for a 3-game series against Indiana State.
It's kind of cool to see where baseball can take you. There's a bunch of places that I probably would have never been if it wasn't for baseball. Everyone's excited for this trip, so we're very fortunate and lucky to be able to have this opportunity.
In what is becoming an annual overseas trip, Puerto Rico last year and this year the Bahamas, the Penn State brand is again part of a first.
The first ever college baseball weekend in Puerto Rico last year. They wanted Penn State baseball to be involved in it, and the same thing as BDG Sports is starting college baseball in Bahamas, and for them to want to start baseball, it says a lot about Penn State brand. It says a lot about our program as we're building it.
Winning, of course, a priority.
For these weekends, yeah, they're business trips, right? We're here to win baseball games. There are fans and alumni, but ultimately this is going down and playing a really good Indiana State team,
while taking advantage of the opportunity to further grow into a championship caliber team.
Kind of strengthens your bond with these guys, and I know like you're with them 3, 4, 5 hours a day on the field, but it's a different type of relationship having that off the field versus on the field, and it just kind of blends both of them together.
Shared experiences, they hope, just like last year's Puerto Rico trip, leads to wins down the road.
I'm into shared experiences. Like that, to me, is critical as you're building relationships, as you're bringing people closer together. So, yeah, I do. I think shared experiences like this in a weekend, we can come out with some wins, hopefully. It doesn't matter where we play. It doesn't matter what we're doing. Once we get onto the baseball field, it's about getting our work in and playing great baseball.
For the softball team, not as far south as the baseball guys, but a very successful trip to Orlando. They continue to dust off their opponents as they sweep all 5 games in the Sunshine State to improve their winning streak to 9 games heading into this weekend. Look at the numbers from the Lions' recent tear on the diamond. They are sizzling hot at the plate. During the stretch, they have bludgeoned opponents pitching, outscoring teams 92-17 over the 9 games. They reached double digits on 6 of the occasions, with 5 W's coming in shortened games. Overall record, 13-2, before they head to Knoxville and play 5 games in the Tennessee Invitational, including a pair with the #1 ranked Volunteers. We check in with the surging women's basketball team on the home court at Rec Hall versus a quality Big Ten opponent, USC. Kiyomi McMillan buries the bucket to pull PSU within 1. Later in the fourth quarter, they set up a play down low for Gracie Merkel. Easy 2 for Merkel underneath the basket. Under 3 minutes to go, up 1. Mariah Murray, no hesitation at all, up and in for the triple. It is a 2-possession lead for the Lions. And then moments later, McMillan again from the elbow. A soft touch leads to a friendly roll. They stay in front. And you got to make your free throws if you want to keep winning. Victoria Santana gets the bounce. A 3-point lead when the Trojans try a desperation heave at the buzzer. It's no good. And a solid win on senior night for Penn State. Up next, our Impact interviews with the football players. They refer to themselves as a blended family and tell us some of the ways they are bonding off the field before spring practice gets underway. Nittany Game Week returns after this.
Good morning. Door install. Let's show these guys how it's done.
What's up around here?
Oh, no. All part of the plan.
Taking doors off, putting doors back on. What a world.
So I just gotta come back tomorrow and finish the trim.
There's a reason West Shore Home is America's most trusted home remodeler.
That looks good.
West Shore Home, remodeling reimagined.
The Pocono Mountains has dozens of ski trails designed for every skill level, from gentle beginner slopes to fast runs. No snow? No problem. We make our own. Even if it's not snowing outside, we've still got you and the trails fully covered. Whether you're an expert skier or still learning.
Well, let's talk about pizza. It's making me hungry. Oh, me too.
She should stick to snow tubing.
Hey, I heard that.
Plan your next adventure by visiting PoconoSki.com.
Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
We're back on Nittany Game Week. Time for our Impact interviews, and most of the time we speak to one person. This week, we have a chance to catch up to a handful of the football players, many of them brand new to the campus and Happy Valley. We find out why Coach Terry Smith refers to them as a blended family and some of the things they're doing to bond before they begin spring practice.
You're trying to use the blueprint of a team like an Indiana that built so quickly a team with 40-plus transfers in it. So you're trying to learn how they did it, and we're trying to replicate some type of success here because those guys clearly did it well, and we have 40-plus roster transfers. So, getting around guys, building the brotherhood that we want to build, the culture, and setting the standards of like what Penn State football has to offer, like what we're going to do for Penn State and how we can achieve it. So that's basically what we're doing. We're just grinding through that. We're doing community service together. We're going to dinners together. We're just meeting, talk about if you guys need help, schooling, just new guys at State College have no idea what it's like to live here, operating downtown, parking, because that's an awful mess at Penn State.
You don't say.
Yeah. And getting through all that, knowing what Thon is, like that was pretty cool. Coach Campbell getting to know what Thon is and guys giving to Thon. I don't know if that's ever happened before, but that was pretty cool, guys using the money they earned to give back to something like that.
When you talk to them about State College, what are some of the things that you make sure that you mention to them? I mean, obviously they experienced Thon, but some of the other little things that you talk about.
Man, to be honest, I'm an offensive lineman, so I'm bringing up like places to eat. I'm trying to food is a big culture thing for a lot of different people. So bonding over types of food is a big part of my life. So taking places to eat, giving suggestions. Valentine's Day was up, so a lot of people were bringing girlfriends from previous schools. I'm like, these are good places to go and get reservations at. Things like that. I mean, if you're into outdoor stuff like Scotia Shooting Range, fishing license, trout fishing is huge. Penn's Creek and Spring Creek, I did that over last summer for the first time. Those are stuff you can go do. Boating on Bald Eagle, that kind of stuff. Bonding stuff for guys to get to learn each other and learn what they like.
Putting on the blue and white as opposed to all the other colors. What was that like first time you got your Penn State gear?
It was nice. It was just, a relief of stress. The portal, could get crazy, and when I made my decision, I was happy with it, and I don't regret it at all. So,
can I ask you what the advantages are for a player for the transfer portal? Because it wasn't always an option for players. Now, what does it allow you to do? Even if you stay someplace, you know what I mean? Does it evaluate your situation?
Yeah.
What are the advantages of a transfer portal for players nowadays?
I would say advantage for sure is just being able to, like you said, rethink things and stuff like that. Because if a coach leave, you don't know what's going on, what situation you're going to be in if you stay or leave. So you just want to take a step back, look at all your options, and make sure you make the right decision for you and your family.
Still having Coach Terry around.
Yes, sir.
What is that? That's got to be a sense of relief, right?
I'll say having Coach Terry around it's a blessing, and the relationship I had with him is great. He's a great guy. He keeps it on point and he never tells you something that you wouldn't want to hear. He's going to tell you what you want to hear. So he's a very great guy, and it's just been a blessing for him to come back and have me stay.
You describe the situation as blended families. Is that kind of a good way to describe it? And what does that mean for you guys? The practical application of that, right? You guys got to be together.
We have a lot of team stuff with him, in our corner room. So he's very I would say family oriented. He wants to keep us all together and just comfortable.
So much of the stuff was non-football stuff you guys had to deal with. How nice is it to just, okay, who's my coach? You know what I mean? Let's just talk football. Is it kind of refreshing? Is it getting to that point?
I'll say it's definitely refreshing because not knowing who our coach will be for a couple of weeks, it's draining, but it's definitely refreshing that we have everybody.
Sure is a fresh perspective on just about everything when it comes to the football program in State College. Make sure to go to nittany-game-week.com for all of our Impact interviews along with other web-exclusive content. Don't go anywhere. Still to come, our Dean's List recognizes the standout performances from the past week, and the wrestling team preps for their biggest meets of the year. We're heading into the final minutes on Nittany Game Week.
Want to learn to ski? The Pocono Mountains is the place to be. With lessons for every age, you'll be skiing or snowboarding in no time. Learning is fun and the views are beautiful. Choose from 6 amazing ski areas. Learn more at PoconoSki.com.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R Express family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the sensory room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium and a special event sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State football.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. An off week for the wrestling team who locked up the Big Ten regular season championship, but of course, bigger fish to fry with the national championship on their mind. But first, they will take them to the mats at the Big Ten National Championship next weekend. The Nittany Lions get to play host at the Bryce Jordan Center, all getting started on Saturday, March 7th at 10 a.m. And like we always do, in the final minutes of the show, we like to shout out some of the standout Penn State athletes in this week's Nittany Game Week Dean's List. We begin with women's lacrosse, where Raquette Allen was crowned Big Ten Freshman of the Week. She leads her team with 15 goals already this year. To softball, we had her on the list last week. And she does it again. Back-to-back Big Ten Freshman of the Week honors for Allison Oneacre, who continues to be a driving force behind the early softball team's success. And then last, but certainly not least, recognition for top-tier performance in the classroom. Women's soccer's Kennedy Ring and men's tennis Christo Gaglavis were named Penn State's Morgan Academic Center Student Athletes of the Month for November. Congrats to this week's Dean's List honorees.
Thank you, Ryan. We'd like to bring PSU fans and alumni together with our Nittany Connect network at nittany-game-week.com. We partner with businesses that support the show and let our viewers know about their great products and professional services. It is one-stop shopping at nittany-game-week.com for all of our web-exclusive content, airtimes for our network of stations, previous episodes, and impact interviews.
And while you're visiting that website, make sure to submit your tailgating and game picks from any of the PSU events you attend. We always finish with some pride picks, so show us your spirit.
For Ryan, I'm Todd. Thanks so much for watching Nittany Game Week. We'll see you next time.
Every week, our groundskeepers are meticulously mowing, painting, repairing any damage from the previous game in preparation for Saturday. Our contributions to the team are providing safe playing surfaces for the athletes to showcase their abilities on. There's a lot of history here. Being able to be a part of that has been incredibly special for me.